and to hopefully make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits towards better hip mobility and better movement. Oh, Che, welcome back. Already in. Gayeta, welcome back. Wow, people popping in so fast. All right. Sorry for the wait then. All right. Let's do this. We're going to do our warm up exercises, and they are called, well, the first one is called the hip CAR. CAR stands for controlled articulated rotation. So we're going to start with something that looks like this. We're going to stand and lift this knee directly in front. I'm wearing dark layers and it's shadowy, so I'm going to rotate to the side. We're going to lift this knee directly in front as high as you can. We're going to open up that hip to the side as wide as you can. We're going to rotate that leg so the ankle comes up as high as you can bring it. And keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. From here, we're going to bring the leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull this leg back. Feel that stretch here in the hip flexor. And that is 1 rep. We're going to do 10 of these on the left side, 10 of these on the right side, and then we're going to reverse the whole thing and go backwards. And do 10 on the left and 10 on the right. Let's go high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. I think this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That might have been 11. Ooh, okay. Hip cars. Let's go. Other side. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. I think that's 3. 4. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. 6. 7. 8. 9. Last one. 10. Oh, those are some hip cars. You might have noticed that perhaps my range of motion is looking a little less rangy these last couple of days. I've been trying to really keep my hips stuck in the same place as much as possible so that when we're moving, a lot of that movement is actually coming from the hips. Something I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, probably at this point, is trying to keep your low back straight, especially when we are doing moves like this. We're reaching the leg back behind us, flexing the hamstrings, flexing the glutes. When you do this, we tend to try so hard to lift that leg behind us, because that's what we're doing, that we start pinching the back a little bit, right? Instead of just focusing on the leg coming back, we are doing something like that, and our whole low back is tensing, and there's a whole bunch of pressure there. 40 reps a day of these is not the nicest thing we can do for a low back that's already in pain. So I want you to try your best to sort of flex your core, rotate your pelvis, keep these locked in place as much as possible. Work on that stretch that's actually coming from the hip and not from your spine. All right? And that applies in general to most of the movement. When you're lifting your knee as high as possible, when you're opening up your hip as far as possible, try to keep your hips locked in more or less the same space. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're just standing around at home, it's going to be really hard to keep from moving when the rest of your body is moving. But focus on it, keep your intent on it, and we'll see how it goes. Cool. We're going to go in reverse now. In reverse, the movements are basically the same, but we do them in a different order. Cool. We are starting with, again, flexing that core a little bit, bring the leg down and back, flexing the hamstrings, flexing the glutes, pulling this leg back, then lifting up directly to the side. From here, we're going to raise that ankle up as high as you can, then bring it all the way down, knee up, and forward. If you want, you can bring the knee a little bit further than just forward. You can go slightly across your body and get just a little bit more range out of your hip. Cool? Let's go. 10 of these. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. I think that's 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 4. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 6. Back, side, ankle, ankle. 7. Back, side, up, down. 8. Back, side, up, down. 9. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Oh, that is 10 hip curls in reverse. We got one last leg left. We're 75% of the way through. Breathe, catch your breath, and let's go. Last leg. Again, flex those core, flex the core, tuck the hips a little bit, keep them in a nice strong position the whole time. High knee, open. Ooh, I'm already off balance. Nice strong position and stay balanced if you can. Rotate the ankle up, bring the leg down and back. That's 1. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's 3. 4. 5. Open, ankle. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I started going forward instead of backwards. This is my bad. We'll count to 5. We're going to go in reverse, all right? Let's go backwards. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Try to tuck the hips so that you're not going like this. From here, we're lifting to the side. Bring the ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 6. 7. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 8. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 9. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 10. That is our hip curls. If you're just joining in for the first time and you have no idea what I'm doing, what my legs are flailing around trying to accomplish, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live hip mobility, side split stretching, better movement type work. So if you like that, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep on hanging out. We got probably 7 more exercises to do, and I try to explain everything a little bit so that you can have plenty of time to join in, catch up, and hang out. I think I saw a comment come in that said it'd be awesome if I slowed down a little bit. I'll do my best in the future to slow down those hip curls, but just like right now, I tend to talk a lot. So even if I am not perfectly in line with how fast you're doing those reps, you got plenty of time to catch up because I ramble. Okay, let's get into the second warm-up exercise. We are doing some elephant walks. The hip curls are a little bit intense, a little bit challenging, so the second one we'll try to be a little bit more chill about. All right, we're going to fold into this L shape and just chill for a second. If you have a tight low back, you might start feeling it a little bit in your back, and as it's relaxing, you'll start feeling it more and more and more in your hamstrings. Chill, relax, breathe. And from here, I want you to start adding a little bit of movement. I want you to bend one knee, straighten the other leg, then bend the other knee, straighten the other leg, and keep on switching back and forth as you bring your belly button down as low as it can go. All right, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Ooh. When you're just first starting these, your hamstrings will be so tight. You'll be feeling a whole bunch of tension just underneath your glutes. That's where your hamstrings attach into the pelvis, and that's how you move your legs with muscles attached to other bones. And it's gonna be a little bit challenging for sure, especially if you're a little bit sore. If you just had another workout that worked on your hamstrings, you did some sprinting perhaps, this is gonna be a little bit tough. As you do this, I want you to focus on bringing that belly button down towards the ground. You can slow the pacing of this to whatever pace that you need, that you feel comfortable with. You can widen your stance a little bit. You can narrow your stance a little bit. You can point your knees out a little bit. You can try and experiment with how you position your legs. From here, we're going to keep going probably for another 15-20 seconds. I want you to get to a point where suddenly the movements feel a lot easier. They feel a lot smoother. And it will sometimes just happen magically as you get warmed up. You're like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad. But it might take a little bit. I'm definitely feeling a little bit smoother than when we first started. And 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep on trying to bring that belly button down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Do a little squat. Come on up out of that elephant walk and breathe. That hopefully helped you loosen up your hamstrings a little bit, give you a little bit of movement. And there's a cool skill you can sort of take and apply anywhere to get your hamstrings ready in about a minute. We're going to stay in that position after you've shaken out your legs, and we're going to do some thoracic rotations. What that means is we are going to open up our legs decently wide, hips width approximately, fold forward, point the belly button down towards the ground, so we're still getting to that L shape just like before. And from here, I want you to bend one knee. Right now, my left knee is bent. I'm going to reach across to my right side, and I'm going to rotate and open up my chest. I'm going to push against the straight legs ankle to help open up my chest. My chest is rotating to the right. My right arm is going up in the air, and I'm reaching, and come back down. That's half of a rep. We're going to do 5 of these in total, so let's do the other half, and then we got 4 more to go. All right? Now my right leg is bent, my left leg is straight, my right hand is reaching across to the straightened leg, the left leg, pushing against it, opening up the chest, extending the arm, and reach. I talk fast, but you don't need to move fast. This should be nice and gentle and maybe almost kind of enjoyable. We're going to do 4 more reps. Let's go. Left knee bent, right leg straight, push and open. That's 2. Officially 2. Keep going. When you reach the end of that, reach the deepest part of the stretch, I want you to take a quick breath there. A small inhale, and then exhale as much air out as possible. See if you can just reach a little bit deeper on that exhale. And that, I believe, is 4. And with that, I think we've done 5. Slowly come back up into standing. That is some thoracic rotation designed to get your back to do some twisting, because your spine, especially the middle parts of your spine, are designed to rotate. They're designed to bend left, bend right. I said that in reverse order. Bend forward, bend backwards. And realistically, if we don't spend enough time daily doing a little bit of movement, getting the spine to do its job. Cool. That is warm-up exercise number 2. We're going to work on number 3 right now, and it's called the Cossack switch. This one's going to be a little bit challenging, so you can chill when I tell you to chill, and then slowly we'll work our way up to 10 reps. All right? For now, I'm going to demonstrate. You don't have to join in just yet. We're going to try to do something that looks like this. We're going to extend one leg. We're going to try to deep squat on the other. We're going to try and get low and compact, and we're going to try and scoot our butts to the other side, and then come back. This is really hard for most people to get into, so we're going to start with getting into a little bit of a tucked ball position. Notice that these knees are folded up to my chest. I'm pulling the knees in from the side. I'm really trying to fold my chest down, and my heels are coming up a little bit. This is important for this part where we're just stretching and preparing the body, because for a lot of us, if you have your heels down in this position, you'll start rolling backwards, and that is not what we want. So lean forward, have your heels come a little bit off the ground. From here, I'm going to demonstrate a couple more little tips and tricks, and then we'll do all of our 10 reps together. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a little bit is come out of your little squat ball position, put your hands down in front of you, and extend that leg. Again, you don't have to join me right now. I'm just telling you what's happening in a little bit, and then we're going to do it all together. From here, I want you to try your best to keep this heel down. That might mean that you can't stay super low and squatted down. That might mean you have to come up a little bit. That might mean that you can only stay super low to the ground from certain angles. If the knee is in front, maybe you can't stay as low. Maybe if your knee is a little bit more off to the side and wider, you can stay lower to the ground. That's up to you. I recommend you experiment, try out a couple of things, and take your time. It doesn't have to happen all today. All right? From here, I want you to lean forward, put your hands on the ground a little bit to help scoot yourself over to the other side. Once you get to the other side, I want this heel to be down as well, and I want you to kind of squish into this deep position as much as possible. If you can't get super deep, that is absolutely okay. We're just working on it day by day, trying to get a little bit better. Cool? From here, we're going to keep on using our hands to help scoot ourselves back and forth, and that's enough information to get you started. So, everybody, let's get out of that forward knee tuck position and put our hands down and extend that leg. This time you're following along, so get ready. Again, heels are staying down. You might be able to get super low. You might need to be a little bit higher up, and that is absolutely a-okay. From here, if you need the assistance, put your hands down, help bring your hips over to the other side, and squish as compact as you can. Then come back. We're going to do 10 of these. That's 1. 2. If you're feeling like you don't need the hands, they're just sort of kind of helping, but not really. You can keep leaning really far forward and do a couple more reps. If even these are feeling pretty comfortable for you, you can try to sit up a little bit straighter. That's going to shift your balance. It's going to work your ankles a little bit more, and you can keep going. I think it's 5, 6, 7. Again, you can always put your hands down. You can always make it a little bit easier on your joints. If your knees are getting a little bit achy when you're trying to keep it low and move from side to side, you can also do a little bit of a squat. Come up first, come across, and then drop down. All right, that will take some of the tension off the knees in this position and make it a little bit more comfortable. I'm pretty sure we've done 10 of these by this point, so let's chill, calm down, catch our breaths, and that is our entire warm-up. If that sounds really intimidating because you're joining in for the first time and you're like, what, that's the warm-up? I'm already sweating so hard. Don't worry, this is a stretching and hip mobility show. We are going to be doing 5 static stretches from this point onwards, and I need the warm-up to warm up your muscles, get some blood flowing, get your heart pumping, so that when we stretch, we get the most out of these stretches. All right, so it gets easier from here, kind of, for the most part. Grab a sip of water and grab a bit of a cushion, something foam, something padded to protect one knee. We're going to do a hamstring stretch with one knee down on the ground, and I'm going to grab a sip of something to drink. In the meantime, I'm going to crawl over to the camera, check the comments. Over on YouTube, Queen RRR says, hi, I'm ready to stretch. My back has been feeling less achy. Oh, amazing. That is good. And Sue JK asks, what does this stretch help? So the Cossack switch is really interesting because it actually combines a whole bunch of different things, right? the way we were stretching to prepare for it was basically a deep squat, right? And then we extended one leg out to the side. So this side leg over here is basically doing a side split. So you got extreme, almost, hip mobility in either direction here. You got great ankle mobility if you're able to keep your heels down on this side. You got great hip mobility. You're able to bring your chest to your knees on the other side. And you're able to build a lot of strength and move from side to side in this kind of difficult, complex position. What does this help with? Well, helps with being comfortable with on the floor, right? It helps with being comfortable picking things up off the ground. It helps with being able to move a little bit better from positions where you're kind of at an angle and it's kind of steep and you're like, oh, wow, okay, and trying to get up. That's sort of the more obvious basic stuff. But if you're in a position like this, these are basically single leg squats, right? If you're working on training and building up to something that is just leg strength, like a pistol squat, when we are doing Cossack switches, we're basically doing a slightly assisted version of a single leg squat. Sometimes your legs and toes might be pointing out to one side. That's okay. If you start angling your toes and your knees a little bit more forward, you're getting closer and closer and closer and closer to a single leg squat. All right? Whew. Okay, that's enough of a tangent. Let's jump into our stretches. We're gonna do 5 stretches. The first one is a hamstring stretch. And that's because for most of us, we are chronically way too tight in our hamstrings from sitting down all day, including myself. I need this. I designed it this way for me. So if you don't have tight hamstrings, well, that's very lucky of you. You're still gonna have to bear with us. All right. The first stretch is gonna look a little bit like this. We're dropping one knee down onto something that's a little bit cushioned, a little bit padded, so that the knee doesn't have to suffer the floor as much. All right. From here, I want you to point your hips directly forward, your shoulders directly forward, your head directly forward, and I want you to extend one leg out in front of you, directly forward. If you're finding that, your leg is too straightforward, you're a little bit off balance, you can widen the stance just a little bit to help you balance. And the goal here is to fold our belly button down to our thigh. All right, like so. From here, let's get into that position. Why don't you take some normal breaths? You might be feeling your hamstrings tightening up, and that is normal. That's the point. That's okay. From here, I like to squeeze my hamstrings, sort of kind of massage them. I don't know that it actually does anything to help, but I do know that if I'm focused on squeezing the muscle, the intensity of the stretch becomes less obvious to my brain, and I'm thinking more about stabbing my muscles with my fingers. So, if that helps you, you can try it out too. From here, we are trying to bring the belly button down to the thigh. We're going to do it while exhaling. All right? So, we're going to do a big inhale, exhale, and fold. As we exhale and get deeper into a stretch, your hamstrings are going to feel super tight. I want you to try your best to relax in this new position and chill. Just, everything's okay. Everything's fine. Oof. Okay. Cool. Now that we've taken a quick break, try to normalize this position. We're going to do another inhale, exhale. Ready? Inhale. Exhale and fold. And that is how we're getting into position. We're going to hold this stretch for 30 seconds, and that's it. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. I want to remind you that this stretch is not coming from your head bending down. It's not coming from your chest coming to your leg. It's coming from your belly button coming down to the thigh. So if your back bends a little bit, because you have to put your hands down on the ground and you have to bend a little bit to get your hands down, that's fine. But I don't want you to be rounding your back and really stretching out this stuff, because you don't need that kind of pressure on your spine, and we already slouch plenty, so you don't need it. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that hamstring stretch. Breathe, relax for a second, and switch over to this side. The other knee is down, leg is extended in front of us. One of the things that you might come across that you didn't notice because you can't see yourself is this. You might be getting into this position and you might end up doing something like this the whole time without knowing. So try to do your best to keep this line relatively straight up and down and not lean really hard like this. You might run into this problem when you're struggling a little bit with balance, but it could also be some of your hip muscles are a little weaker than others, and the most comfortable position that you can hang out in while doing the stretch is kind of folded over to the side. I'm exaggerating a little bit, so if you kind of don't look nearly as bad, that's probably normal. From here, we're bringing that belly button down to the thigh. Ready? Belly button. Thigh. Oh, your hamstrings are tightening up. They're super unhappy with you. Take some normal breaths. Just be like, relax. Everything's fine. You're good. You're good. Massage those legs a little bit. And we're going to do the inhale, exhale. Ready? Inhale. Exhale and fold. Your hamstrings are dying. And we're going to take some normal breaths. Just please, just this is normal. This is okay. We're relaxing. Everything is all right. You're okay, hamstrings. You're okay. Okay, one more inhale, exhale. Put them through some more torture. Inhale. Exhale and fold. And once you are as deep as you think you're going to be getting for a while, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Keep on trying to bring that belly button down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh man, that is our hamstring stretch. If you want to add something interesting into that stretch in the future, you can try to contract the muscles in the top of your thigh. I want you to imagine you're lifting your leg up while we're in that crazy squish position. You might not go anywhere. You might not be strong enough to actually lift your leg, but I want you to imagine and actually use these muscles in the upper thigh, in the hip, to lift that leg when you're in that crazy stretch. And it might just give you a little boost. Okay, that is our hamstring stretch. This is the first of our 5 stretches. We're going to move on into our second stretch. The second stretch does not require the block, does not require a cushion, does not require a pillow, so you can toss it off to the side. And we're going to get into stretch number 2, the butterfly stretch. From here, we're going to sit on our butts. We're going to bring our feet together, and I recommend you lean against something really sturdy. Right now, I have a couch behind me. I'm going to lean against the couch so that my hips, my back are against the couch. In general, I recommend you get to something like a wall that will support your shoulders, your head, your upper back. And that's because when we're doing stretches like these and we have tight hips, it tends to be the case when you pull your legs in, you start wanting to fall backwards, and now you're dependent on pulling on your legs to keep yourself from rolling backwards, and all of that concern about rolling backwards keeps you from focusing on the important muscles, your thigh muscles, and trying to bring the knees down to the ground. So, if you get your back to a wall, if you get your back to a couch, something that will support your back, keep you from rolling backwards, you'll be able to focus on the stretch that we really care about, which is here in the groin. The way we stretch this out is by bringing the knees down into the ground. And I want you, as always, pretty much, to start by using your own muscles, contract your outer thighs, contract your glutes, and see if you can open your knees, bring them down to a deeper position. It's going to be really hard. If it's your first time joining in, you're going to be confused. You're like, what muscles are these? How do I contract them? That's okay. As long as your knees are not coming up like that, you're probably not doing something super wrong. And if you are, you'll figure it out over the next couple of days. So from here, we're going to take our hands. We're going to apply a little bit of pressure to our legs, trying to push them down, open them up deeper into the stretch. If you have a wall behind you, you're going to feel some pressure in your shoulders. You're going to feel some pressure in your head. That's because when you push out, your chest and your back and your head are going to get pushed back, right? Like we're doing a push-up. This is what moves backwards. And the wall applying pressure just means you're not going any further back, which means you can put all that power into pushing your legs down. So that makes sense. If you have only a couch, if only your mid-back is supported, you're going to be able to put less pressure into your knees, and that's okay. You got to make do with what you can. But in the future, maybe you should find a wall. Cool. All right, from here, let's go. You contract those muscles, push the legs down, 30 seconds, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Remember to breathe. If you have not heard my obnoxiously loud breathing already so far and realized that was breathing, that's what it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Lift your knees up. Relax them, maybe. You don't have to lift them. Let your arms go. If your legs feel like they're kind of stuck right now, you can take your arms, give them a little shake, a little wiggle, and they'll wake right up. And you can flap the wings of this butterfly. And that is a good sign that we're ready to move on to stretch number 3. Stretch number 3 is the seated pancake or the standing pancake. The butterfly actually preps our hips a little bit for that stretch, and it looks a little bit like this. If you're feeling a little sore, feel a little tired, I recommend you stick with the seated pancake. And if you're in front of a couch, great. If you're in front of a wall, instead of being at a full seat, maybe you'll open up your legs and you'll rest your butt against the wall. All right? From the side, you can have an imaginary wall behind you, and you can just kind of go like that and try to straighten out your legs after. Cool? But if you have a couch, it's the perfect time to use it. If you are going to use a chair, I recommend you have that chair slide against a wall so that it cannot slide out from underneath you. Because when you're leaning forward and you're like adjusting and trying to get deeper, you're going to be pushing that chair away behind you. And we don't want that chair to slip out and have you fall onto the floor. Cool? All right, seated pancake. From this seated position on something sturdy, on something stable, I want you to try your best to open up your legs decently wide. Should not hurt, should not be super uncomfortable. Should be nice, big range of motion-ish. From here, we're focused on the belly button. Once again, everything's about the belly button because we're working on folding the hips down. And we're going to bring that belly button forward, as far forward as we can. You're going to feel gravity pulling your head down, pulling your chest down, pulling your belly button down. You don't have to fight it. That is exactly what we want gravity to be doing. We want it to pull our body down and help us get into a deeper stretch. If you extend your arms above your head so that your biceps are at your ears, that will make this stretch way more intense. You'd think the couple of pounds of flesh and bone in your arms wouldn't add so much, but it does. That is how we get into our seated pancake. And for the standing pancake, which is our other option, is basically the same. We're going to open up our legs decently wide. We're going to fold forward. In fact, from this camera angle, it might look like I'm still seated. From here, when we're folding forward, I want you to stick your butt back a little bit and extend your arms in front. That's it. We're bringing the belly button down. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If this feels too intense, you can always bring your arms back. You can put your hands down. You can adjust. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our pancake stretch. And if you're struggling right now to get out of it, take your time, breathe, relax, and if you have a nice couch to rest on, take advantage of it. Sit down, relax. That was what I think is the hardest part of our whole entire show. If you're doing the standing pancake, it's really challenging because we're doing 2 really intense stretches and we're contracting muscles that we probably don't use very much. When we're doing the standing pancake, these muscles, the inner thigh muscles, are working real hard to keep our whole entire body weight supported, and they're holding it for 30 seconds. So that's challenging. But it's not just the muscles contracting that's intense, it's they're stretched out and then they're contracting. So they're already in a not weakened, but like in a not strong range of motion. And they're working really hard to try and keep your body upright, right? The other place you're going to feel it is in your hamstrings. Your hamstrings attach sort of just below and behind the knee, and they connect to the bottom of your pelvis. If you have some idea of what a skeleton looks like, there's like a heart-shaped thing right here. That's your pelvis. Your hamstrings connect to the bottom of that pelvis, and that's what your sits bone is when you feel that hard, pointy thing under your butt when you're sitting down. That is why when you're standing up straight, that hard, pointy part of your butt is like here, kind of mid-thigh, and that's how long your hamstrings have to be in order to just chill out in normal standing life. When you're folded forward, your hamstrings are stretched out from here all the way to back here. So it went from this length, sort of knee to mid-thigh, to knee to like upper butt. That's the stretch. But the further forward you fold, the higher that tailbone keeps on going up, 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 up. And that is the hamstring stretch that you're feeling. So when you're doing that combination of two things, your inner thighs are really open and you're trying to fold as far forward as you can, is going to be crazy. So I hope you enjoyed the little bit of anatomy lesson. I hope that was enough of a break to let you regain some functional control over your legs, because we're going to move on into stretch number 4. We got the option of figure 4 or the pigeon stretch. I think we did pigeon yesterday, so I'm going to do figure 4 today. If you have a favorite, if you're a regular, you know exactly what you're doing, go ahead, go do whatever one you like. But for the figure 4, let's talk about some basic form. In general, for both, we are bringing the leg across the body. You might be able to see that this kind of makes something that looks like the number 4. If I point my toes, maybe it'll look more like the number 4. Boom. 4. What we're doing from here is we're lifting the leg up and we're bringing the belly button down. So from the side, it looks a little bit like this. The goal here is to feel the stretch here in the side of the glute, in the side of the hip area. That's it. That's the whole thing. So from the figure 4 stretch, the figure 4 is nice because you get to lie down and rest and recover from all the other things that we've been doing. And you don't need to use a couch. I'm using one because I'm trying to stay far enough away from the camera you can see everything. And there happens to be a couch here. From here, we're going to cross one leg over the other, like so. We're going to reach our hands through the triangle we just made and around the other leg. We're going to pull this leg to our chest. Whew. You might feel it here in the hamstrings. You might feel it here in the side of the hip, in the side of the glutes. And those are all good. Pull that leg in. Pull, 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 pull. And yeesh. That's the stretch. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. If you're not feeling an intense stretch right now, pull a little harder. That's probably all you need. You might benefit from getting a little bit of support for your knees, cupping them a little bit, and that might help you feel a more intense stretch in the hip and in the glute, but also protect your knees from knee pain. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, relax for a second. That is one pigeon stretch. If you're already in this position on your back, you can kind of let one hip drop to the side, the other leg drop to the other side. Get a little bit of stretch for your spine. If you stick both your shoulders and keep them down on the ground, maybe extend your arms out to either side. That will help keep the top of your spine in position while you do a little bit of rotation to either side. And I think we've done enough of those. So let's get into the other side. What leg did we just do? I think we just did this side. All right. Let's do the other side. Right leg crosses over. Might be the other leg for you. We're going to reach our hands through that triangle and around the leg. Pull that leg into our chest. And feel that stretch in the side of our hip and the side of our glute. Protect the knee a little bit if you need to. I like to stick my knee into my elbow and give that a nice pull. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. You might notice one leg has way more flexibility than the other. That is okay. That is normal. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. If the stretch is feeling a little too easy, your eyes are closing, you're falling asleep, pull a little bit harder. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, release that leg. And you can do the same thing we just did earlier. Bring your shoulders down, extend your arms to either side, sort of let your legs drop from the left to the right. This is a relaxing, gentle pose. We're not throwing our legs around for sport. And once you've done a couple of those, come on up. It's time to get some side splits. Oof. If you've been doing the exercise with us and you don't really know what the point of the show is, let me tell you, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work every single day to practice the number one quality, consistency. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't follow it, then it doesn't matter and it's probably not your best plan. And so you should try something that helps you build some consistency. From consistency, we try to build a little bit of community, right? If I keep showing up, you keep showing up, we keep on hanging out in the chat over the internet together. Eventually, hopefully, you guys get to know each other, support each other, and make it a little bit more fun to come hang out, do some side splits together. So hopefully, consistency, community, good vibes, those three things combined helps us all move a little bit better, get into more crazy hip positions, and maybe helps us get some side splits. If that sounds cool, if you like those ideas, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep on coming back. We are live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you don't know what that is in your time zone, we started 47 minutes ago. That's the time. Okay. We're getting into some side splits. For side splits, I care about you feeling comfortable. I care about you feeling relaxed. And I care about you feeling safe. So one of the things I recommend is you have something behind you. This couch is working like quadruple duty for our stretches. And that thing behind you, I recommend be pretty sturdy, pretty stable, won't slide out from underneath you. And we have it there because when we're trying to figure out the side splits, when we're trying to master... Oh, my sock came slipping off. All right, I guess it's time to remove the socks. From here, when you're trying to figure out your deep side split looking position, trying to figure out how to balance, you're trying to adjust, sometimes you might lose balance, lean a little too far back, and you start fall backwards. Woo! If you have a couch behind you, or if you have a wall behind you that you can just fall into so that your shoulder kind of hits this imaginary wall, your butt kind of hits that imaginary wall, maybe even your back hits that imaginary wall, you won't fall all the way backwards, and your butt will not smash into the floor, and your tailbone will not hurt. So, have something behind you to catch you, preferably something very stable and soft would be nice. In addition to that, a lot of stretching at this stage is about relaxation, right? You want the muscles to be as long and relaxed and loose as possible. You don't want them to be tense, because once they're tense, it's like a bicep curl, right? Like, this is not a stretched out arm. This is a stretched out arm. Same thing applies to your leg muscles. We want them to be relaxed. So if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling like you're rushing for time, if you feel like you are going to get hurt, you're a little scared, all those things will get your muscles to tense up. That means if you feel like you need to grab cushions and wrap your 360 surroundings with softness and comfort, go ahead, do that, no problem. All right, relaxation. Let's go. We're gonna open up our legs decently wide. Does not have to be so wide that your hips hurt. If they hurt, bring your legs in. From here, we're folding and we're bringing the belly button down. Everything is about folding forward in hip mobility and side splits. And from here, you're going to try your best to put your hands down on the ground. If you've got long legs and you can't pull that off, there's a couple of things we can do. You can put a block down, you can put a little stool down, something down. Just remember that if you start falling backwards and you start leaning back, this tiny little piece of foam or this tiny little stool, whatever you're going to use, is not going to keep you from falling backwards. So holding on to that stool is not going to help you. All right. From here, while leaning forward, you should be able to get into slightly deeper leg position. And that's because when we fold forward, our hips and our pelvis and our thigh bones get into a good position for some side splits. So you should be able to open just a little bit deeper than before without discomfort. From here, I want you to try to do something called external leg rotation. And I'm going to demonstrate on this leg over here. What I want you to do is rotate the leg so that your ankle is down on the ground, your toes are pointing up, and your knees are pointing up. What we're doing is rotating that whole leg so that the thigh bone does not smash into parts of your hip bone. And once you've done that, on both sides, you'll be able to walk your hands back a little bit and try to put more weight into your side split in a seated looking-ish position. From here, we're in our side split. This is as deep as you're probably going to get, but if you want to try a little bit deeper, you can do a little wiggle from side to side, see if your feet will slide out from underneath you and get you into just a little bit further. Whew. From here, we're ready. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. If you lean really far forward and have your hands on the ground and your toes are starting to point at kind of like a 45-degree angle, this is really good for stretching out your inner thigh muscles, the adductors. If you sit back and have your chest a little bit more upright, you'll feel more of a stretch sort of in your hamstrings underneath your leg. And we need both, so you can work on each one however much you want. All right, we're done. Come on, walk your hands forward, bring your knees in underneath you, and we're gonna rest here for a little bit. Oh, that is our first side split stretch. I haven't told you this yet, but we're doing 3 rounds of 30 seconds of side splits, and that means this is a little bit different from all the other stretches that we just did. We're going to, in between each of those rounds, we're going to shake out and relax our muscles as much as possible so that we can get into the second and the third stretch as relaxed and tension-free as possible. So how are we going to do that? Come on up into standing. We're going to start shaking out our legs. It's going to look something like this. I'm just letting our legs get loose, and we're shaking them out. Shake, 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 shake. If you need a little bit of help trying to figure out how to do that, I recommend you imagine that you just got out of a swimming pool, you got out of a hot tub or something, and your legs are still dripping water down your leg, and you're going to flick that water as far away as possible. You're going to whoosh, 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 whoosh. And as you keep on flicking, you get lazier and lazier and lazier and lazier, and it's not flicking as far. And eventually, this high knee flick drops and turns into something that looks like that. That is what we want. A relaxed leg sort of flopping and flicking, your ankles from the front kind of just going all over the place, and your calves are loose and relaxed, and your legs probably will start getting tired from trying to balance and flick so much. So you don't have to do for the 30 seconds that we probably just did. 5 to 10 seconds is plenty for shaking out the legs when you get up to speed. All right, that is a little bit of leg shaking. If your ankles are flopping, if your calves are flopping, if your legs are doing crazy things, they look like jello, they're relaxed. There's just no way they could be tense. If they were tense, they would be moving like robots. And we're not working like robots, so we're doing good. We're going to do a little bit more for our hips, because when they're holding our legs up like that, these muscles get real cranky. So same principle. We're going to lean all of our weight onto one side. We're going to drop sort of the big toe, maybe the ball of the foot down on the other leg, knee slightly bent. And we're going to just do a little dance. Bring the knee in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. This is not about maximum range of motion. This is not about power. This is about helping add a little bit of movement to get these muscles to chill out, relax, everything's cool. And as you get more comfortable with these, you might notice you don't need the whole ball of the foot. Maybe just the toes is enough. Maybe you don't need any of those as well. You can just keep on shaking the leg out. Ooh. And that is where we're eventually heading. All right, this is perfectly good. Shake out the legs. You might notice the quad muscles can just kind of flop around and go crazy when you're doing this. That is more muscles relaxing. Hopefully your hips are feeling a little bit looser, a little bit chiller, because we're ready to get into side split number 2. Stand 8 to 12 inches, just a little bit in front of whatever you're prepared to fall against, whether it's a couch or the wall. And let's begin. Open up the legs, decently wide, fold forward. Bring that belly button, pointing it all the way down. If you can, put your hands down on the ground. If you can't, use a block, use a stool. Just know, if you start falling backwards, that's not going to keep you from falling. From here, we're externally rotating the legs. I'm going to scoot over to this side. And that looks like this. Your heels are down, your toes are up, and your knees are pointing up. We're rotating that thigh bone in the hip so it's easier to sit upright. Because right now, we're in this position. Right? Oh, all right. Do that on both sides. So heels down, toes up, knees pointed up. And you'll be able to walk your hands slowly back towards your hips. Whew. All right. From here, we're going to chill for a second. Breathe. See if we can get slightly deeper into the stretch all by ourselves like that. And we're going to do a little wiggle to get a last little bit of stretch out of that position. And it's time. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. If you're wondering what it's going to look like for somebody who is a little less flexible and can't get their legs nearly as wide as I can, for example, because, I'm demonstrating just one particular person's ability, you might be in a position where your legs don't come nearly as far, right? Like so. And if you're working on that stretch, you can still work on it from here with your heels down, toes up, knees pointing up. You can still keep on trying to sit your butt down. If you have a block, if you have a stool, something a little bit higher up, you'll be able to hang out slightly higher up. I'm trying my best to balance. And you'll still be able to put a lot of pressure into the legs from something like this, right? Over time, you'll be able to unlock more and 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 more of the angle. And as your hips come lower, your hands will, kind of hit their bottomed out point. So you don't need to be like, oh, Ken such a jerk. He's been stretching for like a year and a half, and he hasn't shown us how to make this easier for where I'm at. If you feel like that, that was my attempt at showing you those rough positions of what you're capable of at any moment is a perfectly good starting point. And having blocks, something, ooh, I got another one right here, boom, to elevate your hands, should be just enough to get you slowly down into these positions. I'm pretty sure I was using just about this type of equipment when I was still pretty high up in the split as well. So, that is side split number 2. I hope you've had a couple seconds to relax. Let's shake out our legs. Let's go. Flicking the water off of our toes. Slowly relaxing the leg. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And other side. Flick, 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 flick. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, 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 shake. Add in those hips. All the weight is in one leg. Toes, ball, the foot is down. We're just opening and closing the hips. Doing this nice and fast. It's not about precision. It's not about maximum range of motion and opening as much as possible. It's just make it a dance move. Make it fun. Stinky leg junior. All right. Other side. The closer you bring your legs in, the easier it will be on your legs to do this fast. And when you're ready to make it more powerful, make it explosive, you might be able to see that you can get your quads to swing all over the place. You might be able to get some serious proof of relaxation. There's absolutely no reason that you need to shake it that hard. But if you can see your quads going from side to side, that's a good sign that your quads are not tense. Cool? All right. That is some hip stuff, some leg stuff. It's time for our third and final side split. But before I jump into it, I'm going to look at the comments. I'm going to scroll all the way down and see what is going on. I don't keep a stretch in the thighs, just the knees. The Lazy Gamer HD. Ooh, okay. That is very interesting. Are you feeling it sort of here in the side of the knee? Where in the knee are you feeling it? And as you answer that question, I'm going to continue through the show probably, but we'll get to it at the end. And Sue JK says, I have osteoarthritis in my low back and hip, so thank you so much for this. I'm glad it could be helpful. I hope you're talking to me. Okay. The Lazy Game HD says, yes, that is where they feel it, on the inner knee. Let me think. If you're feeling it here, and you're not quite feeling it here in the thigh, that is relatively normal, and that's because your knee is supporting a lot of weight right here. So one thing I recommend is making sure that your knees are totally straight. If your knees are slightly bent, you'll feel even more pressure on the inside of the knee, and it does take a little bit. For example, I don't feel much of the stretch until I get pretty much to here. Up until that point, the only place where I'm feeling pressure is the inside of the knee. So it might just be that you can go lower and you haven't gotten lower yet. And these muscles are fine and something else is limiting you. I'm going to think about what else that it could be. Yeah, because right now I'm feeling it mostly in the inner thigh. And then once I get to the last little bit, I'm starting to feel it in the inner knee. And then at the very end, it's starting to hit in the thighs. Whew. For you to feel a little bit less in the inside of the knee, you can try to sit back sooner rather than later. When you sit back and your chest is able to come up a little bit more upright, you'll feel more of it in your hamstrings, the bottom of the leg, rather than the front of the leg. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. Oh. For the rest of us, let's get into side split number 3. We're opening up the legs. We're standing 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever it is that we're prepared to fall into. If we fall, we're opening up the legs. Maybe you can get it a little bit wider, a little bit more comfortable this time around since we've warmed up these muscles. Fold your chest forward. Bring the belly button so it's pointing down towards the ground. Put those hands down and open up the legs a little wider. Again, if you need a little bit of elevation, a little bit of support, you can put your hands down onto something from here in this position. Whether your hips are real high up still or they're real deep, we can externally rotate the legs so that the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. Try your best to do this because this maintains a really good position for your thigh bone in your hip bone so that you can get into a deep split without the bones smashing into each other. From here, see if you can sit a little bit deeper into that stretch. And that's it. Do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can get a little bit deeper. 30 seconds. Let's go. Last round. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. If you have a couch behind you, you can experiment with sitting super upright, but putting your hands on the edge of that couch and sort of letting all that weight line up directly over your hips. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, okay. Lean forward. Bring your legs in. Crawl around if you need to. That is our third and final side split. Hope you are satisfied with the progress you made today. Oh, especially if it's your first time doing some side splits with us. Okay, with that, we're going to shake out our legs one more time. We are going to get loose. We're going to do a couple of joint checks to make sure everything is moving well, and then we'll wrap up for the day. I think Kilmar says, thanks, Ken. Bye. See you later, Kilmar. And, oh, we got another compliment. Wow, that was great. And Gilda says, amazing. Okay. I'm still struggling to get out of the side split. So, when you're ready, come back up into standing. We're going to shake out our legs. We're going to get loose, relax, and then we're going to be almost done. All right? Let's go. Shaking that water, flicking it off of your feet, and letting that knee drop, letting the motion get more and more chill, more relaxed, get more floppy and jello-y. Other side, flicking water off. And as you get more relaxed, more jello-y, more floppy, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 wiggle. If you haven't done anything to relax out your arms this whole time, because you've been focusing on the legs because it looked crazy, give your legs some relaxation, or give your arms some relaxation. Shake them out. Do some little dinosaur hands and do some little flicky things. That puts a lot of strain on the wrists. So don't, pound bongos or something. Just little T-Rex arms. You'll feel a lot of stretch here at the wrist. And shake out the arms. Imagine that you're doing something that looks like elbow rotations, almost like you're tucking your hand into your armpit, but take it chiller and chiller and chiller and chiller and chiller and chiller until you're just kind of shaking your arms out. And they look like jello. Noodles, floppy noodles. There we go. Okay. Other leg. I think I forgot to say to shake out this leg. Even it out. Shake out everything. We're going to work on our hips. And this time, I want you to focus on maximum range of motion instead of just the loose, dancey version. And I want you to do this by popping into 20% of a squat. You don't have to go super deep. You don't have to do anything super crazy, but 20%-ish of a squat. From here, I want you to try your best to lean your weight into one leg. Right now, it's in my right leg. And I want you to open up your hips as far as possible. So I want you to point to that knee as far to the side as you can. Open, 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 open. Then do the opposite. Bring that leg in. Point to the knee. In. Notice nothing else in the body is moving. The only thing that is moving is where the thigh bone connects to our hips. All right? That's what we're focusing on. So I want you to try and bring that knee as far in as possible, as wide out as possible. We're going to do this 5 times. I feel like we've done this at least 3 by now. So this is 4 and 5. Other side. I'm going to do the same thing. Pop into 20% of a squat. Lean the weight into this leg. Open up this hip as wide as it can go. Do the opposite. Bring the leg in. That's 1, 2. If you bring your legs closer together, it'll be a little bit easier to hold, less stressful. 3, 4. Last one. 5. That is probably a little bit tiring. If your hip muscles are a little more tired than before, now you can do the dancey shakes. Dancey shakes, let loose. If this makes you want to do something more fun, like some stanky leg. I call this Stanky Leg Junior because stanky leg. If you want to combine and do both legs and sort of have some more dance involved and make this a little bit more fun for you, please add it in. Be my guest. The more fun you make it, the more likely you are to do it. So, fun is the name of the game. All right. With that, I think we are pretty much wrapped up for our hips. We're going to do a couple of quick joint checks just to make sure everything is working okay. For the most part, you should be fine, but it doesn't hurt to be safe. We're going to do some hip circles. I feel a lot of stress here in the sides of the hips after side splits, so I like to do some hip circles to stretch them out, add a little bit of movement afterwards. If you feel the same, or if you got something else that you're feeling when you're starting to do these hip circles, take a couple seconds to take care of that. From here, we're going to do 1 high knee on each side. You'll know if your knees are not lifting very high. It will be very obvious, and you can take time to work on that a little bit. From here, we're going to do the hamstring stuff that we've been doing so much of already. We're going to pop into a little bit of a squat. Fold your chest down to your legs as much as possible. Bring your knees forward. When you do that, you're going to feel pressure in the knees, but you'll also feel some tension in that Achilles tendon, and your calves will start flexing real hard. From here, I want you to try your best to do a little bit of a calf raise. Just 1, 2, 3 is fine. And if you're able to balance, if you're able to come onto the balls of the feet, you're able to stay folded, then your hips are good, your legs are probably moving pretty well, and you got most of the main muscle movement patterns working just fine, working well together. So with that, I think it's time we wrapped up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, building some hip mobility, working on our side splits together. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the workout, and I hope you enjoyed this so much that you'll hit follow, you'll hit subscribe, and you'll keep coming back, because we do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. That means we started an hour and 11 minutes ago. Cool? All right. I'm crawling back to the chat because I haven't gotten a good look in a while, and we'll take a quick read. Ange says, have a good night. Thanks, Ange. Thanks for participating in the chat and asking good questions. I hope you enjoyed. Sandrine says, thanks. Gilda says, amazing. The Lazy Gamer says, interesting. Okay. The Lazy Gamer asked about feeling the stretch in sort of the knee-ish area and not feeling it in the thighs. I don't know how this works, to be honest. But I realized while we were doing the last side split, because you asked this question, I started responding to it in between side splits 2 and 3, that pretty much from this point all the way to this point, I'm not very conscious of the inner thigh. It's just doing whatever it does, but I am feeling the pressure here at the hips. And that could be, I just trained this position long enough that my brain doesn't respond to some of this range of motion. And I think my brain isn't conscious pretty much of anything from this point all the way. Okay, now it's tensing. I can feel that I'm tensing, but I definitely feel the knee and the hip more than I do the inner thighs. And I even feel the calves working a little bit harder than my inner thighs because my feet are trying to stay locked in and balanced so I don't slip out. And let's see, what else we got? When I'm in this position, right, pretty close or approaching our side split position, I'm definitely feeling it more in the hips than in the thigh muscles themselves. And when I really get deep, that's when I start feeling pulling here at the bottom of the hamstring, basically right next to the knee, just a couple inches above the knee. When I'm leaning forward, that's when I feel the pressure and it's on the thighs and it's feeling closer to the hip than it is to the knee. And it's not like the belly of the muscle over here. So I don't know. Oh, exactly. If that makes sense. If the thigh muscles should be feeling more of a stretch when we're doing the side split, but that is what I am currently experiencing, and I hope as a reference point for your data that that's useful information. Okay, what else we got? So for people who don't know, I spend a lot of time way back over there by the couch trying to make sure everything I do is visible, and that means sometimes I miss a bunch of chat. Try to jump back a little bit here and there. But if there are some questions that I've answered multiple times and you know the answer to, feel free to jump in and answer it. For example, when I go live, 9 p.m. every single night. Yep, Monday through Sunday. And what else we got? What else we got? What else we got? That was Ange asking about what that helps. I think I'm more or less close to the top of the chat. Give me just one more second to check for things. Skittles says, I wish he'd slow down. I'm so sorry. The hip cars is one of those movements where we do so many reps. And when I get tired, I want to do them faster. So I hear you. I totally get it. Gaeta says, my work schedule has not been the same. Oh, bummer. I'm sorry you've been struggling with getting to the lives. All right, I think I got all the way to the top. Right, if you're still on, hope you're good. Good luck with work, and come when you can. Let's see, Gilda says, it does make a lot of sense to me. Okay. And she says, I'll be here every night at 9. Yes, welcome. And we got one last one. Gilda says, you're incredible. Thank you. Really helps. Hopefully, we'll get like you someday. I think you can absolutely 100% get to the level of flexibility I'm at. I've been doing some version of this live for about a year and 2 months. I started with a less intense, slightly easier workout. At one point, we were doing just one round of 30 seconds of side splits, and that probably went on for like 6, 7, 8 months. So just 30 seconds of each of those stretches per day for 6, 7 months, 8 months maybe, and that created a lot of progress. After a while, the side splits kind of stalled out, and I started doing 3 rounds of 30 seconds, and it picked back up again. And now I think I'm at a point where I probably, for my personal training, need to spend a little bit more time on the side splits to get that last couple of inches. I think the last time I measured it was like 25 centimeters, so it's like 8 to 9 inches. And actually, that's not true. We've measured after that. I think it's like 17 centimeters at one point, possibly. But I have to work really hard and be super warmed up, and it's really hard to get into that position. So I think for me, in my personal training, that last little bit is going to be way more intense than what we've been doing on the live. But I think for normal people, if you're just trying to make progress in the right direction, move a little bit better, and practice some hip mobility, this is a perfectly good way to do it. We're all about practicing consistency and making sure that you do a little bit every day or every other day, if that makes more sense in your schedule, so that over the long haul, you make a whole bunch of progress. I have tried getting the side splits something like 12, 13, 15 years. And I used to do this thing where every year, right around like end of December, Christmas time, early January, I'd watch like 2-3 hours of side split training tutorial videos, and I'd watched all of them before already, and it was kind of silly because I know all the exercises I need to do, but I would do that anyway. I'd create this crazy plan, and I'd be like, this is my workout. I'm gonna stretch all these muscles, da, 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 da. And then inevitably it'd be way too intense for like the first week of exercise. I'd be super sore, be in pain all over the place, and then I'd take a couple rest days, and the rest days would turn to like a rest month, and then it's like February, and I'll be like, I'll get back to the side splits later, and then next year I repeat the whole entire process. I've done that like 10 plus times. So I think the lesson I've learned from that experience is for a lot of things, especially things that can't get accomplished overnight or even in a week or even in a month, you gotta make sure that you design it so that it's easy to be consistent. And side splits is not one of those things. Sitting on the floor, stretching, making your limbs be really uncomfortable for very minimal progress on a daily basis, that's a really hard thing to keep consistent with, right? So what I tried to do was make it a little bit more fun. I try to make the accountability live, for example, so that I couldn't cheat it, right? It's really easy to be like, oh, I'm going to do it every day and then not actually do it every day. But the live started because I want to make sure that there's no way to cheat it. I'm live. I'm doing it. I'm doing the stretches, and I welcome everybody to come hang out with me and do the stretches together. So that's where we started. And now all we do is practice consistency, try to build up a little community of other people who are trying to work towards better movement, better side splits, better hip mobility, and hopefully all of us can find a little bit of enjoyment in the suffering that we're doing on the floor, enjoy whatever jokes I try to come up with for the day, and hopefully we make a bunch of progress along the way. Cool. That is the goal. I hope you enjoyed. And if you like what we're doing, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We do this every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. And on the weekends, we also go live at 9 a.m. Eastern. So feel free to try those out as well. Also, if you're feeling really sore, really tired after this live, you don't have to come back in for tomorrow. I recommend you come in because I frequently forget to explain different pieces of things, or I try not to explain the exact same thing the exact same way every single day. So you might get some new piece of information that's valuable for your stretches, for your workout, and you can apply that for the next time. Cool. All right, that's it. I'm wrapping up. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for hanging out for 81-ish minutes of side splits. Peace out. Bye. Closing it off. Kelly over on YouTube, before I close, says, I don't understand anything. That's okay. I hope you enjoyed the entertainment then. Have a good one.